let's continue with our jack-in-the-box here. I got most of it modeled out, but I do want to add some facial features. You could do this with texturing, but because I want to avoid textures for this particular project, I'm just going to do it all with modeling and using basic colors, because I want to be able to save this Maya file and then just give it to people to use for the curious.com course without having them to worry about, wrangling all these texture files. And so they're going to be getting this model, and then it will automatically come colored, since I'm just going to be using some basic colors on geometry. So with that in mind, I'm just going to model some eyes, a mouth, maybe some ears, and see if there's anything else that kind of needs for coloring purposes, and then we'll go ahead and add some colors to it and call it done. So for the eyes, I'm going to do just some simple spheres. I'll just create a sphere, scale it down. I'm actually going to rotate it so that the pole of the sphere, it will be like where the pupil is. It's kind of bulgy right now. We'll fix that. And I'm going to go ahead and make him kind of cross-eyed, or what's the word? Fish-eyed, I guess. So his eyes are going to be looking out in different directions. That's fine. I'm kind of mimicking what it would essentially be like a children's toy. Alright, so I'm just going to hit Control D to duplicate this, and because I'm pretty happy with the position as it is right now, I'm going to hit Control G to group it, and because it's grouped, the group's pivot point automatically becomes the center of the scene. I mean, I've been working on the origin, so now the center point of the entire scene is here down at the origin, and I'm going to scale this duplicate -1 in the X direction. Hit enter, and you see it flips the group over, and now I have the second eye on the opposite side, and now I can go to edit ungroup. So now that group is gone, and this sphere is just in position where it should be. So now I have both eyes. And I'll actually probably delete this eye and do that process again once I have this eye colored, so then I don't have to color this eye also. I can just duplicate the colored one over for the other side. And for the mouth, I'm going to do just, I'm not doing anything too crazy. This is a pretty simple, beginner's model, nothing too nuts. I'm just going to create a simple little smile to be going on here. So let's actually keep it really simple and just create a torus. Like so. And I'm going to go over here and adjust the section radius to make it thinner. Increase the subdivision's axis so it's a bit rounder. Let's go ahead and give it a nice round number of 40. Subdivision height could be lowered. I don't need that quite so high. Let's say around 8. Like so. And then I'm just going to select my faces and select half and delete them. And there you have a simple smile. So he'll be a happy jack-in-the-box. Obviously the end caps of where the deletion happened are open. So I'm going to go to my modeling module and say mesh fill hole, and it automatically fills those holes. I'm going to select these two faces that have been created, go to edit mesh and bevel them so they get a little bit of a roundness to them. Add a segment on there, increase that roundness so it's like this. And then I'm just going to go to mesh display and soften these normals, soften edge, like that. And now let's stick him on there, see how he looks like. Obviously a little too big right now. A little freaky. Let's scale that down. So, pretty simple, nothing too crazy. Just trying to get some facial features on here. so it doesn't look like just a ball. And for the ears, I think I'm just going to extrude them out from the head. So I'm just going to, let's grab these two edges here, and I'll go to edit mesh and bevel them, so I get this kind of effect from that beveling command. I'm going to grab these faces here, edit mesh and extrude. Just going to scale them a little bit. So, pretty simple, like so. Maybe I'll grab this face and lower it down a little bit. Grab this one and raise it up a little bit. So, something like this, nothing too nuts, nothing too complicated. And because I don't want to have to go through all that again, I'm going to go to my front view. Oops, there we go. 4 for wireframe. I'm just going to select the half of the sphere that I did not do that to the ear. Delete that half. Grab this half. I'm going to do that mirror trick again. So first I'm going to delete the history, which you can do that under Edit, Delete by Type, History. I'm Control D, and because my origin is already at the center of the scene, I don't have to worry about grouping it. And then for scale X, I'm going to add a negative to the front of this number, enter. So now I have a flipped version. So now with my flipped model, I'm going to go to Mesh, Combine. So I've now combined my model together. Even so though, I need to go back through and select this row of vertices down the middle of my face and go to Edit Mesh, Merge. Distance threshold of 0.01 works just fine most of the time, like so. So now I go back to my perspective view, and you see I had this kind of hard edge through the middle where the merge happened, but I can grab it and go to Mesh Display, Soften Edge, and that softens that up, like so. So now I have my little face. And what I might do, since I don't necessarily want this to be so bulging, let's see, I might just grab both of these and kind of move them in. And because I'm on object modes right here, and where I get to this marking menu is by holding down W key, left click and hold, and I get this marking menu, and I can grab an object. I can grab an item from this marking menu, such as moving to object mode as opposed to world mode. So with object mode active, I can move these objects like this, and they both kind of mirror each other's movement. I'm going to poke them in a little bit more so they're not quite so bulging outward. There we go. So this is definitely a beginner's model, nothing complicated at all. We're not doing any kind of fancy modeling with this, and by any means. But it kind of gets your feet wet if you're interested in modeling and how things work. So at this point, I'm going to do some colors, and now I want to make the box more than just one color. So I think I'm going to add some divisions in here just so I can have some simple divisions for adding color. So I go to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop. I'm just going to insert one right through here, and if I go to Poly Split Ring, you can see the weight of this edge loop is 0.868. So I think I'm just going to round that up to 0.9. Hit enter. And then I'm going to add another loop down here. And if I click this one, you can see the weight is 0.13. If I choose 0.1, hit enter. It should be pretty similar when it comes to the width of this segment that I've created with the insert split ring. They're probably not exactly right on the nose accurate, because when I separated this segment out with the first split poly ring, it made the percentages when it comes to the weight value slightly different for this inserting edge loop, And so to be more accurate, I probably should be a weight of more like 0.15 or something, which we can do and won't make a big difference. That's actually a little bit too much. Probably more like 0.13 or something. I don't know. I'm not too worried about being too exact right now. But I have the divisions there that I can apply color to, which is what I'm mainly interested in doing. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start coloring now, and we're going to just do some simple materials with colors applied and maybe some specular values, nothing too crazy. So I'm going to save my model. So let's go to File, Save, and then I'm just going to select it all and delete history. I have a shortcut here on my shelf, delete history. So now all of it is kind of frozen with no history that could possibly break anything that we want to do. This lid's pivot point is still where I want it for the movement when it comes to the animation part of things, which is good. So what colors should I want? I'm just going to do some simple primary colors like red and yellow and blue and stuff like that. So I'm going to select my box, right click, and it's going off my recording screen, but I'm going to choose the assign new material option. Let me see if I can't get that on the screen better. If I go up here, right click, assign new material. There we go. And in the assign new material window that opens, I'm just going to use a blend, which is a standard specular value material. So the blend gets applied and the attribute editor will open up here. If the attribute editor does not open for you, which I've had that happen before in my scenes where the attribute editor does not open, you can hit Control A to open the attribute editor yourself. And blend 1 here, I'll select it, and I'm just going to click on the color swatch and change this to, let's say, yellow. And we can make it not quite so bright if you wish, whatever you want to do. You can choose whatever color scheme you like the most, of course. So now my box is yellow. I'm going to select the lid, right click, and choose assign existing material and choose blend 1. So now I'm applying the same yellow color to the lid and not making a new yellow color, because that would be inefficient. We don't really need more than one yellow material since we're just dealing with primary colors. So I just apply the same yellow material to the lid and it works just as well. So anything else I want to be yellow? Not really. So now I'm going to right click and choose some faces, and I think I'm going to have the center faces be red. So I've selected these faces, not the model, but the faces. Right clicking on them now and choose assign new material. And I'll choose a blend again. In this blend, I'll choose red color. So now you can see those faces have been applied with a different material than the yellow, and they are red. I'll have this ball in the end of this handle also be red, so I'm going to right click on it. Make sure I move my model up so you can see the marking menu off the screen. Assign existing material, and I'm going to use blend 2 since I didn't bother naming these properly. That's okay for now. Blend 2 is red, like so. And his mouth, I can make that red also. So I hit the G key. That actually will redo the last command I did, which was assign the existing blend 2 material. So this also, when I hit the G key, also assigned the blend 2 material to the object that I had selected. So now the mouth is nice red color. The hat, we could do something red here, maybe this ring of faces along the hat, but first let's do the primary color of the hat, which I think will be green. So I'm going to right click on the hat, and you probably know it's off the screen, but it's assign new material again. Right click assign new material. I'm going to choose blend again, change this one to green, and I'll make it a bit darker green, not quite so bright. I'm going to select one face on this ring of faces, hold shift and then double click this face, and it selects that entire ring of faces. And so with that entire ring selected, I can right click and choose assign existing material and choose blend 2, which is the red color, and apply it like this. So it kind of gives it a Christmas look, but that's okay. So for the face, you can do whatever color you want. I'm going to right click on this and choose a new material, blend, and so I'm just going to use the average tan color for the face and move on from there. So the nose, we can either apply the same color, but if it's kind of like a snowman or something, the nose is typically something that stands out, doesn't blend in with the color of the face. So I think I'll use like an orange color maybe. Right click on it, choose assign new material, blend, change the color, to something more orangey. You can use whatever color you want, of course. There we go. And now for this little fringe around his neck, we can make that green as well, or whatever color you want, like so. And for the springy bit, that will be doing a lot of the motion for our Jack-in-the-Box in the Curious.com course. We want this to kind of stand out a little bit, so maybe we'll make it like a purple color. And because I'm picturing the material that this springy thing is made of to be more fabric-y, I'm not going to use a blend. I'm going to use just a Lambert. Right click on it, assign new material, and I'll choose Lambert. Lambert doesn't have any specular to it. It's not shiny at all, so it's more appropriate for something like cloth. So with the color here, I'll choose like a purple color, like so. And now for the handle bits, I was thinking they'd be kind of metalish, but I'm not going to go so far as to make like a metal shader or anything. I'm just going to kind of color them a metallic blue. So I'm going to right click on them, assign new material, and I'll choose a blend for this since metal is kind of shiny. And I'll choose a bluish color with some blue tints to it. A little bit more metallic-y in hue, nothing too garish. And then for the handle, I'll also use the same material. So I'll assign existing material and choose that same material for the metallic blue color, like so. And now for the eyes, I'm going to do something a little different for the eyes. I'll right click on them and I'll choose assign new material again, and we'll choose blend again. But this time, instead of just assigning a color, I'm going to go over here with this little checkerboard pattern, and we're going to actually map a texture to the eye. The Maya comes with some procedural textures that you can use, and I'm going to use a ramp texture here. This is a ramp texture that comes with Maya, so it doesn't require any kind of exterior files to be used for anyone else who wants to use my Jack-in-the-Box scene. So when I press 6, it turns on texture view, which you do need to be able to see the ramp. You'll see when I hit 5 to go back to just shaded view, it's just gray. If I turn on 6, it'll turn on texture view and I can see that brighter white color. So what I'm going to do is use the ramp to create like a pupil effect on the eye. So I'm just going to kind of grab this black circle and this white circle and kind of swap them places like this. And I'll move this white circle back this way, and you can see the effect it has on the sphere. So with this kind of black and white pattern, you get a pupil effect, like so. And that's pretty much all I'm going to really do to make the eye. I'm not going to assign any kind of texture to it. You can rotate the sphere to make the eye move around. So maybe I will kind of point it more forward as opposed to pointing it out like that. But that's up to your preference, is what you want to do. When you do that though, because the geometry doesn't really line up together with the sphere, it becomes a bit more jagged. It still is a little jagged at the original position, but it's not quite so obvious. So I think I'll leave it like that actually. And I'm going to select this sphere and right click on it and choose assign existing material, and now the eye is assigned to it as well. So there is our colored Jack-in-the-Box. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy, but it works. So this model I'll be distributing freely with my Curious.com course, going over beginner animation. We're going to be animating the Jack-in-the-Box as it pops out of the box and bounces around a little bit with a kind of a springy motion and then comes to rest. Very simple, very beginner focused animation course. And those of you who are interested in animation and want to get started and don't know much about it, it's a perfect course for you guys, and I hope you'll check it out. For those of you who didn't know, I did have a other course on Curious.com for intermediate animation, and we did more of a spaceship flying through a scene kind of thing. This is stepping back a bit and going for more beginner focus. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you have fun modeling this simple little guy. If you like this style of video, this is the first time I've done this for my channel. I can probably do something similar in the future. I just figured since I've got to make this guy for curious.com anyway, I figured I'd go ahead and record the process and let you guys kind of sit in on it. But like I said, very beginner. If you're interested in more complicated things, probably work on that kind of stuff in the future. Just have to gauge your interest in this kind of thing as opposed to my tool focused videos, which is the bread and butter of my channel. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.